We'll start with the prayers. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramarthanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yogaha. The title of this chapter clearly tells us what the subject matter of this chapter is. Kshetram and Kshetrajna. Kshetram means the field of experiences which we all go through. Kshetrajna means the knower of the field of experiences. I am the knower, and whatever I experience in the world is the known or Kshetram. Many people study the Bhagavad Gita many number of times. And if you ask them, they will say that I still don't know what is the central theme of this Bhagavad Gita. What am I supposed to learn? Because it talks about karma yoga, it talks about meditation, upasana yoga, it talks about the vibhutis of the Lord, it talks about the gunas. There are so many things Bhagavad Gita talks about. But what is the central theme I, as a seeker, as a student, what should I learn from the Gita? We all come to Bhagavad Gita because we have seen the limitations of our life. Our life is basically driven by our identification with this body as me and the identification with the mind as me. This is common to everyone, irrespective of caste, race, religion. This is what we are experiencing every day. So the limitations are experienced by us. We see the birth and death of the body as one of the limitations. We see that our mind goes through tremendous amount of joy or sorrow, mostly sorrow in life. And we are quite helpless. All of us, it's not one, it is a universal problem. Is there a way to get out of these limitations of the body and the mind? If you ask me, that is the central theme of the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita gives us the secret of how to see this world in which I am living and in this world which is created by Ishvara. Chapter 13, 14 and 15 give us the essence of the Gita. For me, That is the most important aspect you should learn. Bhagavad Gita is talking about karma yoga, upasana yoga. It talks about the gunas, but these are all things which are supportive to this central theme. And the central theme is explained very beautifully in this chapter 13. It continues in the 14th, it continues in the 15th, but chapter 13 is the most important chapter in the entire Bhagavad Gita. You may have just got a glimpse of this chapter while going through with me verse by verse. I hear from many people who are listening to these talks, and when I hear their comments, I find that people who are new to the Bhagavad Gita, they find this chapter difficult to understand because it's a little bit abstract. I will try to make it a little simple for you to focus so that you know how to read this entire 13th chapter. The most important verse of this chapter is the 3rd verse, where the Lord is telling Arjuna, "O Arjuna, I am there in every living being, in their hearts. Know me to be the Kshetrajna, the seer, the knower principle." Very important verse. If you pick up this verse, you have picked up the entire 13th chapter. When the Lord says that He is present in all of us, what does He mean? What He is teaching us is that there is a principle, a power in all of us. That power is called as the power of awareness. Without this power, we will not be able to experience anything in the universe. Neither we'll be able to know our body, neither we'll be able to know our emotions, neither we will be able to know the world at large. It is the power of awareness. It is the life force in us. And it is universal. With this life force, this body becomes sentient. It gets the capacity to know. It gets the capacity to act. It gets the capacity to desire. So this knowing principle is called as Kshetrajna. All the verses which deals with Kshetrajna are very important verses in chapter 13. And we have seen how to discriminate this Kshetrajna from the Kshetram, from the experiences. How do I try to take out or scoop out this Kshetrajna separately? Verses 13 to 19 are the key verses to do that. And also what verses we will start covering from today till the end of the chapter. These are key verses to understand this Kshetrajna. One very important thing which is a tip. To realize this Kshetrajna, I must know that whenever I am in the waking state, it is there. When I am in the dream state, it is there. When I am in the sleep state, it is there. With this knowledge, this is a tip of how to realize that Kshetrajna, the knowing principle, in me. In the Mandukya Upanishad, in the 6th mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad, very important mantra, very important Upanishad, it states that when we are in our sleep state, we merge with a universal power, which is the Lord. Every day when we go to sleep, in the waking state, I am not able to know what is this power. But through the study, when I go through the analysis, it says that I am with Ishvara every single day when I'm sleeping. Whether I'm sleeping in the afternoon or night, I have closed my experiences in the waking world, shut the body, shut the mind. I am one with Ishvara. Very important tip. 6th mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad. You have to link it with the 13th chapter, verse number 3. So who am I in my sleep state? I am that pure Chaitanyam, the pure awareness principle. Let your mind go to that principle as the real nature of me, the Jiva. Let that sink into you very deeply in your subconscious mind. Once you do this, everything else, what you read in the Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishads will start making sense to you. Because you can refer to that nature as our own nature, real nature. One very important point, significant point is timelessness is experienced by all of us. Timelessness. So, Atma or Kshetrajna or this power of awareness, all are the same. They are given different names. This is beyond time. And whatever we experience as the Kshetram, as the field, is in time. Use this important factor to note how to differentiate the body mind from Atma. Whoever knows this, you may belong to any religion, any caste, any part of the world. If you are able to analyze this experiences in this fashion and understand there is a field of experience and there is a knower. That knower is my real nature. I can exist as that knower without the body, without the mind. Therefore, it is called as timelessness, and whatever is timelessness is eternal. Knowing this nature of mine as Atma or as Kshetrajna, we learn the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Having known this essence, then you lead the life. Then you see how you can face these challenges of life, because these challenges we can never stop. And one of the most important, another tip which is given to understand the difference is in the 18th mantra, Jyotisham api jyotihi tamasa paramuchyate jnanam jneyam jnanagamyam, that verse. What does that verse say? It says that this Kshetrajna is the Jyoti, the illuminator of the sun itself. Sun illumines the entire earth. But what illumines the sun? Kshetrajna. This is the most important verse for us to realize that awareness principle, which is an illuminating factor, which exists by itself, and that is our Swarupa. So, if someone asks you, what is it, what did I realize, what did I learn by studying the Bhagavad Gita? Now you will have a clear answer. I am the immortal self. I am the Kshetrajna. The body and the mind and the world, they come and go in the waking state, dream state, and in the sleep state. I have total ignorance. But now I know I am beyond the three states which belong to the mind, and I am the Kshetrajna, the illuminating consciousness, Chaitanya. Chaitanyam is a name, universal name for all of us. That is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, that was just an introduction for today's talk. Let's go to the verse number 28, which we are going to study now. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyasva vinashyantam yaha pashyati sa pashyati. Yaha pashyati sa pashyati is a very important word. Whoever sees this, he will realize this Kshetrajna, this Atma. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu. What does this mean? It means that this Kshetrajna, the Lord in us, that Chaitanyam in us, exists equally in all beings. Samam, in all the living beings. And he is the Parameshwara. That means we are talking about a higher reality. Tishtantam Parameshwara. Then what it says? Vinashyasva vinashyantam yaha pashyati sa pashyati. The second part is very, very important. It says that in this perishing world of the body, of the mind and the world, this Chaitanyam remains unperishable forever. Nitya. That is why it is called as timeless. The description of Atma, the Kshetrajna, is a timeless principle. In Mandukya Upanishad, the first mantra talks about this timelessness. And that is the description of Chaitanya. See, when you go through the definitions of Chaitanyam in this way, indicators, our hold on Chaitanyam becomes stronger and stronger. And the more our hold is stronger, the more we will be able to say, I am that Chaitanya. So this is the practice for all of us. After studying the 13th chapter, we should learn to claim that Chaitanyam as my real Swarupam. Like the fire is always hot. Ice cream is always cold. Similarly, this jiva, the soul which is in this body, The nature of that jiva is, it is timeless. It is eternal. So these are the rewards of the clarity of Atma Jnanam. When I have this knowledge, what happens to me? I am called a Jivan Mukta. A Jivan Mukta means what? It means that I no longer look at the problems of samsara as my real nature. Samsara means what? Sukham, dukkham, joy, sorrow, raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes. Do I have them? Yes. Will I experience them? Yes. Even after jnanam, will I have this? Yes. But I will also realize I am the seer of that. I am the experiencer. I am not the experienced mind or experienced body or the experienced world. This is the jnanam. This is knowledge. This is the knowledge which we get from the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is nothing but an essence of all the Upanishads. So Upanishads are revealing to me what is my higher nature. I am experiencing the world, everybody knows it. Everybody knows that they are experiencing the world of plurality. But this Atma being my real nature, very, very rare to find people who know this. One who knows the Kshetrajna and the Kshetram alone has the right vision of the world. It's a very, very powerful statement. One who knows the field of experience and one who knows that he is not the field of experience, he is not the body, he is not the mind, he is not the world which is experienced, but he is the knower of the field, the knowledge of the field. He is the knowingness of the field, and that is the Chaitanyam principle, which is the knowledge principle. If you can learn to practice this daily, this thought, I am the awareness, again and again remind yourself so that it becomes a habit. Whenever you think about yourself, it becomes a habit in you to say, oh, I am the consciousness. Today, what's our habit? Our habit is, oh, I'm suffering. Instead of saying that the body has got a problem, we say, I have a problem. Instead of saying my mind has got a lot of issues of jealousy, anger, desire, likes, dislikes, I say I have all those. And I keep on being in a turmoil because I think that the mind is me. But we need to transform from a jiva to that higher principle, which is Paramatma. And the Bhagavad Gita shows us how to do it. The methodology. The moment you are able to understand the nature of Atma revealed in this beautiful chapter, you will not have any difficulty in understanding that I am not the body, I am not the mind, they are objects of awareness. I am the awareness. They are the objects. The entire waking state is an object. That means it is not the subject. I am the subject. Again in Mandukya Upanishad, I repeat why, because we are studying that in Wednesday classes. It says that the entire waking state is an object of awareness. The entire dream state is an object of awareness. The entire sleep state is an object of awareness. All these three states belong to the mind. It does not belong to the awareness in which the mind and its conditions become known. When you are able to put together the knowledge from the Upanishads and also from the Bhagavad Gita, the clarity you get about Atma is unbelievable. Your own clarity. You can never go wrong and say that I am suffering. What you learn to say is the body is going through pain, the mind is going through pain, but I am the rock-like foundation on which it comes and goes. No sorrow remains for too long. It comes, it may remain for a few days, weeks, months, years, but it goes away. That is the way of the jnani. A wise man sees the world with a new light. So one should compare and contrast both the Kshetram and Kshetrajna. For example, this is a very powerful example given in the Upanishads. When you go to a gold shop, 99.9% of the people like me or everybody will keep on looking at the ornaments. When we look at the ornaments, ring, bangle, and then we'll keep on wondering how that ornament can look in my neck or in my hand. It will look so beautiful. So we are carried away with the form and the name. A wise man is one who sees the gold through and through when he sees the ring or a bangle or a chain. How do I apply this with Atma? While going through the body and the mind and the world, which is the name and form, I realize that I am the pure consciousness, Chaitanyam, which is in and through all experiences. That is the vision. And when you get that vision, what happens? We are able to see the one imperishable, non-changing subject among the perishable objects of the world, including the body, mind, which is very close to this Chaitanya. Body and mind is an upadhi. Upadhi means a medium through which I experience the world. The pure Chaitanyam cannot experience anything by itself. It is just a pure light of consciousness, which is what we are in sleep. It is called as pure existence consciousness and bliss. That is our real nature. Whenever I wake up in the morning, I put on the dress of the body, the gross body. I put on the dress of my mind. And then I go through the experiences of joy and sorrow throughout the day. What do I do in the night? I remove this dress, keep it aside. I am with my own self. I am with Parameshwara. That state in which I am with the Lord is imperishable, timeless, eternal, changeless, all illumination, the light of all the lights, the life force behind the world, that is what is being revealed in the Bhagavad Gita. It is not to say that there is some God in heaven or some other part. What Bhagavad Gita does is, at the core of our own personality, the Bhagavad Gita is able to teach me to realize this pure self, which is eternal, which is timeless, which is the light of all the lights, which is called as Atma or Kshetrajna. I learn to know it here and now. This gives me the freedom. This gives me the fulfillment in life, which no other object can give, because all objects are finite. What I am searching for is infinite joy. A finite object or a being cannot give me infinite joy, which I'm searching, which I've been searching throughout my life. This life, many past lives. But now I have realized that I am that pure substratum, that pure consciousness in which everything is happening. In chapter 11 of the Gita, it was shown to Arjuna that this Chaitanyam, this Krishna, is the one in which Arjuna saw the entire universe. The past, the present, the future, everything was shown to Arjuna. If you remember what we learned in the 11th chapter, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. Vishwarupam, the whole cosmos was shown in one body of Lord Krishna. Arjuna wanted to see that. That is a depiction of this Chaitanyam. The Chaitanyam is the one principle in which everything comes and everything gets resolved. And that is why it is called as one non-dual Chaitanya. There is no plurality in it. Therefore, you cannot say in Atma, am I able to enjoy the world? No. It is the bliss of the subject, which is nirgunam, which is without any attributes. So in many beings, we see one samam. Samam means equal. One consciousness, universal consciousness. All the living bodies have this consciousness, whether from an ant to an elephant. That consciousness is there. The bodies are different, the experiences are different according to the law of karma. Prarabdha karma. So in many Viseshanam, there is one Viseshyam, which is Ekam, one. In many, in Anekam, Anekam in Sanskrit means many. We see one Ekam Maheshwaram. Maheshwaram means he is the Lord of all, the Antaryami, the inner controller. The Chaitanyam, the consciousness, is the inner controller. That is how is the description of the Lord in Mandukya Upanishad. It says that the Lord is an inner controller of the entire universe. In the variable, we see a common invariable factor. In the perishable, we see the indestructible, imperishable. In the changing, we see the changeless. In the ephemeral, we see the eternal. This is how you do compare and contrast. This exercise is important when I want to have a clarity of Kshetram and Kshetrajna, the knower and the known. In the Kshetram itself is the Kshetrajna. In the Kshetram, right now, here, in the Kshetram, very important thing, in the rope is the snake. In the substratum is the superimposition. In the gold is the ring. In the consciousness is this body, mind, intellect, and all the universe. In the silver is the shell. In the post is the ghost. We have seen these examples in the past. I'm just trying to bring it down so that you can recollect. In different instances, we have been taught about the same subject. In the waker is the dreamer. All the dream experiences, who experiences? It is the waking mind, which has gone and doesn't know it is the mind which is in waking. It enjoys a dream. So similarly, all thoughts which we see in our mind is nothing but Sakshi. Sakshi means Chaitanya. And you see, one important point you should understand is that thoughts come and go in the mind. We experience them clearly. I experience thought of my son or daughter. I experience thought of what food I should eat. I experience thought, emotions, thoughts of different types. But all of them have a common denominator, which is Chaitanya. Without the Chaitanya, which is that I, without the body, without the mind, what you call it as the I is this Chaitanya. Even now, while listening to the class, if you just drop the identification of the body, the sense organs, and the mind, you are one with that awareness. Because it is eternal. It is always there, in time and beyond time. The whole time rises from timelessness, which is Kshetrajna. And that Kshetrajna is eternal. It is always there. It exists. If I come to know that, knowing that and claiming that is called as moksha, freedom. Claiming the timeless atma, the self, is freedom from the limitations of the body and mind. Very simple. If you follow step by step how to know this pure self as the real me. Know it, that's all, just knowledge. Let that knowledge sink into the conscious and the subconscious mind. Yaha pashyati, saha pashyati. This is what I said earlier also. The one who sees in this way, with this vision, has the knowledge of the truth alone. And he alone, he or she alone sees the truth of the whole universe, the truth of the body, the truth of all the bodies in this cosmos. Because there is only one truth, which is this pure consciousness. One who is not carried away by the thoughts, which is the Kshetram, he is the one who sees. This is a very important point, because in meditation, this is what we are all trying to do. We are all carried away in meditation by our thoughts. That's why Lord Krishna in the 6th chapter gave us a tip for meditation. Shanai Shanai Rupayati. That means slowly, slowly bring back that consciousness which has gone into the thoughts, bring it back to the center again and claim that center as your real nature. Once you learn to do the technique, once you know the technique, you apply the technique and then you will get it. All of us are seeing, but we are not seeing the seer. And this is the Kshetrajna, which is the seer. And the Lord is explaining to us how to see the seer in ourselves. One who sees this seer knows, understands this knowing principle as Kshetrajna, and he alone knows the universe. And that person is supposed to be a jnani, a wise person, a free person. Whoever knows that, he is the realized person. He sees that Satchit Ananda. This is another term for Kshetrajna. Asti Bhati Priyam, which means in Sanskrit, I'll explain to you, existence, awareness, bliss. This is the nature of this Kshetrajna, the seer. It is formless, it is changeless, it is timeless, it is independently existing, it is also existing in time with the realm of matter and in all our experiences. That is why we must know the two words I keep on reminding every time, many times: transcendent and immanent. By knowing this consciousness principle, which is in and through all the experiences, but it can remain independently as the transcendent principle, that is this Kshetrajna. See, many a times, even this may sound very difficult and all that when you go through these words and descriptions, but in meditation, it becomes very easy. All this. When you close your eyes and tell yourself, I am the Kshetrajna, I am that pure awareness, it is so easy. And then you just remain in this knowledge. These are all just words, but ultimately you have to realize this as your own nature. Drikdrishya Viveka, this is the words which are used here. Asti Bhati Priyam Rupam Nama Chetasya Panchakam. That means this description of the seer has got these aspects. It shines. This consciousness is shining. Shining means what? It is the knowing principle. I know the desk, I know the laptop, I know the mobile, but who is the knower? I am that Chaitanya, I am that Kshetrajna, I am that consciousness. I am not the inert body, I am not the inert liver, stomach, heart. These are all inert. But who knows the emotions? Who knows the thoughts? Who is going through the eyes and seeing the form? Who is going through the ears and listening to the talk? That is Atma. It is formless, it is changeless, and it is eternal. So if I have to know myself, remember these three words: formless, changeless, eternal. You cannot miss the Atma. The one who sees the rope learns to drop the rope snake. The one who sees Atma, the self, the pure consciousness learns to drop identification with the body, with the mind, and the world as the self. This is how we learn Bhagavad Gita. This is a practical method to realize what the teaching is. At no time you can say, no, Bhagavad Gita is only, it's all only theory. No, it is not theory. It is 100% practical. Just follow the steps. If you are not clear of the steps, go through the 13th chapter one more round with the talks which I have. If you have missed some talks, you just ask me. I will send you the entire 13th chapter by WhatsApp, by email, whatever way you want it. The whole Bhagavad Gita, I can send it to you, but just go through them at your own pace. Learn the inner truth which is being revealed in the Gita. And then you are truly blessed. Because that knowledge will give you the benefit of knowing the knowledge. It's a tremendous fulfillment. You will feel, I have learned something in this life. No other objective science. You may have got 10 PhDs in physics and chemistry and geology and zoology and astronomy and so on. You may have 10 PhDs. Those are all objective sciences. Nothing like this subject, the I in this body. What is that I? It is this pure consciousness. It wants to reveal that to you. But you have been going out into the world through the sense organs and dissipating your energy. Bring back that energy, back to the source, and realize that bliss. That is the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. One who is a dreamer, waker, and sleeper, the ahamkara, he does not see. The ego I, by which we operate in this world, as a father I, as a mother I, as a yoga teacher I, as doctor I, as a lawyer I, computer engineer I, he doesn't see. Because it is the ego I, which is a reflection of consciousness. Learn to see the original face, which never comes and goes. It's always existing. The ego I is this, which I become the waker. Though I am the waker, we are all in the waking state now. This is the ego I. But is there a truth behind this ego? Yes, that is what it is. That is this Atma. That is the Kshetrajna. That is the knowing principle in this entire world. So one who sees this knows that the truth. One who wakes up to this Kshetrajna, which is called as Sakshi. Sakshi means it doesn't participate in the actions in the world. That is why it is called as witness. Always remaining as witness. I am not, when I say it is a witness, it means it is not a karta bhokta. It is not a doer. But who is doing it then? It is the ego I, which is a reflection of that consciousness, which comes in when we are awake or in dream. In dream also that ego comes up and then it experiences so many things. Same thing what happens in dream is the same thing which happens in waking also. Because both waking and dream, they resolve and into sleep, into that pure consciousness. Yaha pashyati, the one who sees the substratum. For the snake, it is the rope which is a substratum. For the waker, for the dreamer, the waker is the substratum. But for the waker, the atma, this pure consciousness, is the substratum. Others who are seeing, they are in ignorance. This whole waking state is a state of ignorance. And that pure knowledge about Atma, the timeless principle, is jnanam. It is jnayam, the knower. One who knows he is the kshetrajna has full clarity of Satchit Ananda Swarupa. Swarupa means the nature, the intrinsic nature. We all have got two natures. One is intrinsic, which is this pure consciousness, and the other is incidental nature. Incidentally, I am a body and mind occupied by this consciousness principle, and I carry out my duties. Mother, father, son, brother, all these are all incidental I. The pure I is the consciousness. And if you have this knowledge, it is called as jnana chakshu, drishti. That means you have a vision of knowledge. This vision you get only by knowing, not by doing anything. You just know that there is something called as Atma, or the self, or Sakshi, the witness. You just know it. It is just a purely knowing. You're not doing anything. It is existing. It's there. I'm only trying to discover it, trying to uncover the truth. Jnanam eva darshanam, moksha ajnanam adarshanam bandhaha. What it means is ajnanam, that means ignorance is bondage. And when we are ignorant, when I am identified with the body as me, body is dying, body is 60 years old, body was born yesterday, body when, all this is all history of the body. The mind, the mind is, morning it was furious, evening it was very happy, blissful, conditions in the, this is what we are going to study in the next chapter. In chapter 14, we are going to study, it's a full chapter of the study of the mind. If you want to know your mind, wait till the next chapter, 7-8 verses more of this chapter. This is the lesson taught by Yamadharmaraja to Nachiketa also. See, in Kathopanishad, like because this Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the Upanishads, I brought this verse from the Kathopanishad just to share with you how Bhagavad Gita also talks about the Kshetrajna, the Atma, and in the Upanishad also, they talk about the same Atma or Kshetrajna. There is a very beautiful question and an answer. A student is asking his teacher, and the teacher is very, very great teacher because it is the Lord of Death who is the teacher in Kathopanishad. Very beautiful. Who else can you ask about death other than the Lord of Death? Yamadharmaraja. So, and who is asking the question? As 8-year-old boy is asking the Lord of Death, Anyatra dharma, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat, krita kritascha, anyatra bhutacha, bhavyacha, yattat pashyati tatvad. What it means is, that boy is asking the Lord of Death, is there anything beyond virtue and vice, dharma and adharma? right and unright? This is the first question. The second question is there anything beyond cause and effect? And the third thing, is there anything beyond the past and beyond the future? He's asking about time because he thinks that his time, everybody's time will end. Beyond dharma and adharma, because the world is you live a dharmic and you live a dharmic world in the world. Is there anything which is beyond both? Is there anything beyond cause and effect? The whole universe can be explained cause and effect. Anything you see in the world, there is a cause. I am the cause of my son or daughter. I am the effect of my father. It starts with me, the body, and all the living beings. There is a cause and there is an effect. So I am the effect with reference to my father. I am a cause with reference to my son or daughter. Anything you take in creation, Tathobodha says the cause of the earth is the water. Earth has come out of water. The cause of water is fire. Fire element is the cause of water. Air is the cause of fire. Fire has come out of air. Space is the cause of air. So each one merges into the other. You remove the effect, it goes into the cause. So what happens? Merge the water, the earth into water, water into fire, fire into air, air into space. And where does the space merge? It merges in Chaitanyam, consciousness, Atma, Kshetrajna. This is what Taittiriya Upanishad says, that this is the way the merger happens. So here, if you see this question, very, very beautiful question, it just reminds us that whoever knows that there is a timeless principle beyond the past and future, there is a timeless. That is Atma. Beyond the cause and effect, there is a principle called as Atma or Kshetrajna. Behind the virtue and the vice, there is a principle which is called as again Kshetrajna. Likes, dislikes, opposite. The world is a pair of opposites. Whereas Atma is absolute, changeless. The entire world, you take anything, you will find opposites to that. Positive, negative, male, female, joy, sorrow. Anything in creation is a pair of opposites. So beyond this waking state in which we see plurality, cause and effect, time and its attributes, there is a substratum for all this, and that is this pure consciousness, Chaitanya. Etat vaitats yaha pashyati. Here in this Kathopanishad, they use, for those who have in the past, if you have studied Kathopanishad, there is a portion of the entire Kathopanishad which ends with this word etat vaitat. That means the one who sees. The same thing is used by Lord Krishna here as yaha pashyati saha pashyati. The one who sees this Atma, he is the real seer. He is the one who knows. He is a wise man. In life, if you want to know the truth, go to a wise man who knows the scriptures, who has analyzed the Bhagavad Gita, who knows the truth, the essence of the Gita, which is the same as the essence of the Upanishads. That is what is the glory of a wise man. That is what is being explained in this verse. Very beautiful verse. Very, very nice verse. You see, this each of these verses are so deep in their content, it takes a long time to understand the depth of these verses. But if you keep on reading these verses, hearing these verses, the truth will definitely get revealed to you. That is the object of all these verses. Bhagavad Gita is a yoga shastra. It's a practical method to realize the truth of the universe in us. Everybody can realize it. And the benefit of this is you feel you get a lot of fulfillment in life. By having millions of dollars in the bank account is not going to give you fulfillment. Hundreds of houses is not going to give you fulfillment. Children are not going to give you fulfillment. The body is not going to give you fulfillment. All the joys and sorrows are all ephemeral, just comes and goes, comes and goes. You can't hold to any joy forever. This is the only thing which you can hold on forever because this is eternal. Atma is the only non-dual principle, the pure consciousness. The awareness principle is the only non-dual principle. There is no duality in it. Next verse, samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavastitam ishwaram nahintyasya atmana atmanam tatho yati param gatim. The one who sees the same awareness, consciousness everywhere, equally dwelling in all the bodies, he is the one who does not destroy the self. He does not destroy that consciousness from his nature. Therefore, he goes to the highest goal. That means knowing this consciousness alone, you realize the highest goal of your life. Keep this as the goal. Today, for example, you have studied the Bhagavad Gita. 28 verses you have finished. You're still trying to grasp, what is this? Seems to be a mystery even now. Doesn't matter. Don't lose patience. Just be on with it. Keep studying. Keep this as the goal of life. I want to know this truth. There is a truth in this world. Bhagavad Gita is trying to say there is a truth and I have to realize it. Keep that as the goal. Keep revising these verses, understand the depth of these. Go through the process, learn to understand how to meditate, how to contemplate, how to reflect on these verses. And then also learn how to drop all your wrong notions about yourself. Because we have a lot of wrong notions, mistakes, errors about ourselves, delusions. It's not that they will go away immediately. Today you hear about this consciousness, tomorrow you will get rid of all your pain. No, it's not going to be so easy. But we are in the right direction. A day will come when you will say, yes, I agree with Bhagavad Gita, I am that pure chaitanyam, I am the awareness, there is no doubt in me. That is the goal. Samavastitam means Kshetrajna is the only undecaying presence in the universe. All our cells are decaying every single minute of the day. Cells are growing, cells are decaying. Therefore, but there is something which is not decaying, which is this awareness, consciousness. All you have to say is, I am that pure consciousness. Whatever I experience outside this consciousness is not me. It's easy, you can do it. I am the consciousness which never decays. I was the same consciousness 5 years ago, last year, yesterday, today. I will be the same tomorrow. My mind will change. I am aware of my mind. My emotions will change. I am aware of the emotions. The cells in the body changes. I am aware that my body has become old. But I have not become old. I am pure, undecaying consciousness. How do I know this? Because it is self-evident. Swayam Prakasha Ishwaram. In the sleep state, you exist. How do you know that you exist? Because I know I exist, that's all. I never feel I'm not non-existing. In sleep, everybody knows that he exists. That illuminating factor which illumines my ignorance of the world is the undecaying factor. Remains the same. It illumines the ignorance, it illumines the knowledge. The knowledge of the world which I see in the waking state, Sakshi, Kshetrajna is illuminating through the mind and sense organs. The same Sakshi Chaitanyam is the witness of the ignorant state of the mind. In sleep, it is the same Chaitanyam consciousness which is aware of the dream world. The consciousness does not change in all the three states. It remains the same. Samam, the word samam, that is why it is very important. Samam means changeless, undecaying. Sarvatra. Is it illuminating only a part of the body? No, the whole body it illumines. Is it illuminating a part of my emotions? No, all my emotions. Does it stop illuminating the emotions? No, always illuminating. Does it illuminate a part of the universe? No, I can see the stars. I can see the cosmos. I can see through the telescope Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn and Mars, and I see pictures of Mars on the news, in the newspaper. Sarvatra, entire realm of Kshetra. That is the power of this consciousness. So now you can imagine, am I the limited body, 5 feet tall? Am I the short or, fat or lean or? No. Bhagavad Gita is giving me a new picture, a new vision about myself. Nahin asti atmanam atmane. Only such a person is said to be alive, who knows this awareness principle. Otherwise, you are dead to the consciousness and alive to the world, which is as good as ignorance, because it will change tomorrow. It is a changing world. So what remains constant? Nothing. Nothing remains constant in the world except the seer. Earlier it was said, Yaha pashyati sapashyati, only such a person has eyes. All others are pretending to be alive. They have killed the Kshetrajna by being ignorant about it. So a common man does not know his Atma. What this Bhagavad Gita is saying is he has killed the Atma. Yatho yati param gatim. Tatho yati param gatim. Because of the vision of this pure awareness, one attains the supreme. Supreme means there is nothing beyond it. Absolute. Parata paraha. That means it is nothing is beyond that consciousness. So in sleep, if I am that pure consciousness, is there anything else apart from that in this world? No, there is nothing else. Whole world resolves into this consciousness, and the whole world comes out from consciousness is the ultimate lesson. How is this same? How is this self the same everywhere? That is the question we may have. I talk, you listen, you are in a different place. How is it the same? What Bhagavad Gita says is, the many doers, the many enjoyers which we see, that is only an illusion. The body is a medium. You have a body, I have a body, all the people in the family have different bodies, different minds. It's like seeing the ring and the bangle and the chain in the gold shop. But what is common is the gold. What is common in the world is consciousness, awareness. So keep your eye on the consciousness. You will see no illusion, but you will see the truth. One self energizes all. This is the vision of the reality or the truth. One self, one awareness principle is the energizing, the life-giving force for all the bodies in creation. Know that life-giving force as our own nature. I am that. It cannot be known as an object. It is never known, but it is the knower. So the only thing you can say is, I am that pure Satchit Ananda Atma. I am that awareness. I am that consciousness. I am. Everything else is known. Whatever is known is changing. Whatever is known is appearance. Whatever is the knower is the reality. This is how I learned the truth of the universe. We will take up this 30th verse next week because time is up. I want to have, in case there are some questions, I would like to discuss them. These verses, there are another 4 or 5 verses. We'll finish these verses next week. And the following week, we will take chapter 14 of the Bhagavad Gita. I'll just introduce the next verse and then the description, the details, we'll see it. Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashaha yaha pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. He sees who sees all actions are performed by Prakriti, and that the self is actionless. This is what we have learned in the previous in the previous section, which dealt with Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti means the realm of matter. Purusha means the seer, the consciousness. So what this verse is saying is that all the actions, Prakriti includes the mind, the sense organs, the organs of action, and the entire realm of the world. So all this is happening, all actions are done in Prakriti, whereas that Purusha, the consciousness, is actionless. Many of us, we believe when we see the body acting throughout the day, we think I am acting. I am the witness, I am the consciousness who is the witness of the body. I am not the actor. That is what this verse is explaining. We'll see this verse next week. And if you go through what I said at the beginning of this talk, you will appreciate this whole chapter. The whole chapter will become very easy if you know what we are trying to study. One principle, which is consciousness, which is appearing in many bodies as different, and that appearance is an illusion. It is not the reality. It is not the truth. The truth is there is one awareness principle. Whatever I see, the eyes are seeing because they are designed to see that way. The ears are designed to hear different sounds. The eyes are designed to see forms and colors. But the light behind the eyes, the light behind the ears, the light behind the mind is this pure consciousness. That is the essence of chapter 13. Okay, so we'll stop here, and we'll see if you have any questions. You can ask at the end of the prayers, and we'll continue this next week. But next week we'll finish this chapter, and any questions, anything which you have after your revision at home, you can ask next week. If you have not understood any particular verse out of the 35 verses in this chapter, if you have not understood any specific verse, if you want me to go through that again, I will explain. And or any general questions. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So you can unmute yourself and you can ask a question if you have anything. Yeah, Santiago.
Hello, Shikar. Yeah, I have a question. Is many times you've seen that the proof are the Shastras. There is no other proof.
Yes.
But the purpose is just to somehow, even the choice of words can be fallen short, and we are not going to embody or to experience. But the point is that we have to realize that truth anyway.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
It has to become something, and it's always become the same issue is like, but in to what extent I'm not confusing me as a person experiencing this truth is like if we are to experience the final Atman or Turiya in the fourth state, I'm completely unaware as soon as I wake up, or even in my dream state. I'm completely unaware of that state. So it's hard for me to see how we can realize that truth while being alive.
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. See, like I said, this, when we listen to this first time, when we are listening second, third time also, uh, it is difficult. I can tell you because throughout my life, it took me 20 years to understand this Turiya, and what I would say is that it is difficult, but it is possible. It is possible because many, many people have realized it. There is no question, there is no doubt that there is no problem of a language, because this is beyond all languages. Uh, there are techniques for this, and as you learn more and more techniques you will be taught. There are there are specific ways in which we can realize this. See, for example, you have learned in the Mandukya Upanishad beyond the three states. You have learned in this 13th chapter that this is the light of consciousness. What I can only suggest is telling yourself, I am that light. It helps a lot. Don't look for a light outside, because I know that you are a yoga teacher, you teach yoga, you do a lot of things, and you are so sincere in this knowledge. You have tremendous you have a tremendous urge to realize this self. I can see it when you talk. So with this earnestness, I'm sure one day you will realize, and then it will click in your own intellect. Oh my God, this is what it is. It will not, you will realize it. It is a question of just being patiently going through this one more round if required. Some of the words which are used in Sanskrit may be very difficult for you, but I know for sure there are many people, irrespective of the language, people from Russia, from Italy, from Spain, they have gone through the Bhagavad Gita and they have found tremendous knowledge, tremendous benefit out of it. Just keep listening, reflecting, it will come. That is all I can say. I mean, that is how I was taught. When I went to my guru and said, oh, I've 15 years, I have read the Gita, but nothing has gone inside. Then the teacher said, oh, have you gone through the Gita, or the Gita has gone through you? You must go through the Gita. The Gita must be swallowed. It must be consumed. So I must take that knowledge, apply to myself, and keep trying it. You see, the real problem for all of us is our mind. Till we are not able to separate our mind from this consciousness, it becomes difficult. Body is easy, because body is something which is inert, and I can see the body and I can say, yes, I am the knower of the body. But the mind is the problem. The closest to the self, this consciousness, is this mind. And this mind plays havoc in our life. It really plays, it deludes us completely. Morning to evening, I can tell you, everybody's life is like that. We just get caught up with the mind. That is why Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita tells us to look at the whole experience of our waking state as an atma. It is not atma. The whole waking state. And then you say, who is the seer? Who is the experiencer of the whole state? There is only one, which is consciousness. I experience a dream. What is the light in which I experience? That light in which I experience the dream is me, that consciousness. That light is different than the world of dream. Light is only illuminating factor. So ultimately you have to say that I am the illuminator of the entire world, like I illuminate the dream. Same way, like I illuminate the dream world, because in the dream world there is no sunlight, there is no moonlight there, but still I experience that dream very clearly. In the dream, for a dreamer, it is a waking state. Remember this very important point. In the dream, for a dreamer, it is the waking state of the dreamer. So if you keep on telling that dreamer that that is not your state, it is like telling the waker in the waking state that this is not your state, this is not your truth. You wake up from the dream to the waking state and see that dream is a false experience. Similarly, what we say is wake up from the waking state. What does it mean? Look at the waking also like a dream. Very difficult. I'm telling you it's difficult because you can't, but like I said, for a dreamer in dream, the dream is real. For the waker in waking, the waking is 100% real. But the teacher is trying to wake the mind of this person and says, compare both the states, learn to look at them as both dream number one, dream number two, but you are the substratum, the pure consciousness, the light. That pure light is your nature. The light coming in the dream is one, which you know now the dream world becomes false. Similarly, the light in the waking world, which illumines the sun also, that is what is Chaitanya. So that light is the truth, but the world is not the truth. And in the sleep, anyway, it is ignorance. There is no, but that whatever illumines that ignorant state is this light of Chaitanya, consciousness. So this is the way we analyze.
And could you say in a way that we realize the dream state while we are awake, but that final realization, we will not realize it in the dream state. We can only realize it in the wake state.
Yes, now you got it. You see, that's correct. You got the point. You can never in your dream state know the truth unless you wake up to the waking. Unless you are a waker, then you can say, yes, this is a dream. Similarly is the case in waking also. You have to close your eyes to the waking state and say, I am not this waking state. I am the illuminator of the waking state. Like I was the illuminator of the dream state. I am only an illuminator. I am that pure consciousness. And that consciousness alone exists. That consciousness is timeless. And that consciousness is the truth, is the ultimate truth of not only me, but it's the truth of the entire creation. That ultimate truth is what we call it as God.
And I surrender to the whole thing.
Yes.
I am, but it's the difficult that and I understand that it's easy in a way, but the difficulty is in a way is like trying to do an exercise in being in the sleep state, realizing that we are dreaming. While the same thing could say we have to realize in the wake state that we are dreaming in relationship to the final state. So it's like trying to be sleeping and being aware that we awake, and trying to be awake and realizing that we are in a dream state in comparison to the final state.
Okay, your point can be, this particular problem can be diluted a little bit by knowing this truth. In the sleep state, it is ignorance, complete ignorance of everything, of the body, of the mind, of the world, of your relationships, of your wife, of everything is in what has become into unmanifest state. It is potential state of being the waking. That is what is actually the sleep state, potential waking state. But who knows that sleep state? Because you say on getting up, on waking up, you say, I had a good sleep. That means I did not sleep in my sleep state. I was aware of that ignorance. What the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita says now is, I am that consciousness. Listen to this last point very carefully. I am that pure consciousness which is aware of the entire waking world, which is what we call it as vidya or knowledge. I am aware, I the consciousness am aware of the whole waking state which goes into unmanifest form in the sleep state, and that state is basically, I am calling it as ignorance. It is only a manifestation, unmanifestation. But who knows this manifestation and unmanifestation of this realm, two realms of experiences? There is a higher state of the consciousness. This is the way you understand consciousness. I'm glad you brought up this point by point analysis, so that this, your question is a very, very general question which comes to me from people who listen to the talks on the email. There are a lot of people who get this talks through the email, and they ask me very similar questions as what you have asked me. This morning, I was answering a question to one of the seekers from the US. The person listens to these talks, and I'm glad you asked this question. And they get a lot of benefit from these question answers. So a lot of people, they say that, I know Pinto asked this beautiful question, Bhatt asked this beautiful question. Who is this? And because we also have the same questions, the other people who listen to these recordings. So to come back to your point, the last bit of realization of this pure consciousness as the self, to know the self, is in ignorance of the sleep state, I am there. In the waking state, I am there. In the dream state, I am there. That common I in all the three states is this consciousness. This consciousness is beyond the worlds. World is nothing else but matter. It's just matter interacting with matter. See, the body is interacting with the world of objects. Both are matter. But consciousness is a separate, different entity, different than the matter principle. Matter cannot exist by itself. That is a very important point. You should just keep this point in mind. It is this consciousness in which the matter comes and goes. That is why we say manifestation, unmanifestation. manifestation, unmanifestation. Unmanifestation means sleep state. Potentially it is there, but in that ignorant state, it looks as though there is nothing. But in that ignorant state also, that means, suppose many people ask me this question: how do I know that after the death of the body, I'm still there? I ask them the same question: in sleep, are you there or not? It is the same, whatever you are in your sleep state, the same you are in after your death. The same you are before your birth of the body. Because this consciousness is the only thing which doesn't change. This is the only vastu. That is why they say this is the only thing you should know in the whole universe is this consciousness. Have I made a little bit of sense, Santiago?
Yes, absolutely, Shekhar. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just keep listening. You are absolutely in the right path. You one day you're going to come back. I'm sure you're going to come back and tell me, okay, understood, clean. I have understood what you're saying, because the teaching is a step-by-step process. You just follow the logic of the teaching, you will get it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there's a question. If I cling to this truth.
Hi, Shekharji. Uma here.
Yeah,
I think you've already answered my question, because Mr. Pinto's question was exactly the same. As I was typing, I heard, he was asking for the same thing. But it's so nice to hear your assurance that yes, one day we will realize the truth.
Yes, because it is the truth about ourselves. See, the Bhagavad Gita is telling you, come on, this is what you are. That's all.
Yes. But your class was so assuring today. It was really gives us the assurance that yes, we will reach there. Thank you so much, Shekharji.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. See, these questions, a lot of people, they find that these questions benefit a lot, because they also have a same question, but they're not able to ask. And many people who listen to these talks on the videos and all that, they come back and say, this question answer session is beautiful, because we are able to learn so much.
Yes, initially it sounded very ambitious, but now I feel that actually it's a simple thing. It's just that we are not, getting hold of it.
Yes, that's correct. You see, I'm sure from the time you learned the Tattvabodha till today, you have grown so much in knowledge.
Yes.
You see, there's so much of knowledge you have gathered. And each bit of knowledge is like a jigsaw puzzle. You have 100 pieces in a jigsaw puzzle. Maybe you have got the 10 pieces correct. You have another 90 to set it up correct to see the full vision. And it will come. The vision will come, because that is the truth. There is nothing. It is the truth of the universe. It's the truth of myself. And the only way to know the truth is to just keep reminding, I am the pure awareness. In me, all things are happening, right from waking state, dream state, sleep state, the whole world of, all complete world of relationships, of disturbances, of so much of problems. All this is happening in only one. That substratum is me. That is the consciousness. I am that consciousness. If I realize that truth before my body leaves this world, that is fulfillment. And that is called as Jivan Mukti. This Jivan Mukti means it happens while you're living. You are free from the tyrannies of your body and mind. And then you will know it. It's not that somebody will come and tell you, no, you see, now you've got the knowledge, you don't have this knowledge. No, it's a personal knowledge. I learn from the scriptures. It's like a mother. Shruti is supposed to be a mother teaching its children. We are all children of the Shruti, of the Bhagavad Gita. You see, in a big battlefield, when Arjuna is trying to face death after so many people, he was taught this lesson, that this is what you are experiencing outside is only is like a dream. Lord Krishna taught Arjuna that in the battlefield. It's not we are in the battlefield, we are sitting in a room, cozy room, in whatever, wherever we are learning, and then we are trying to understand this. It's far more easier for us to pick up this knowledge than somebody who's facing such calamities in life. Okay, Akshay is saying, if it is true we experiencing it in sleep, then what is the exact difference between sleep and the self? Sleep is a inert experience. Self is a conscious experience. It's not an experience, it's a conscious truth. Realization experiencer, yes, you can call it realization, you call it self-realization. Sleep is not self-realization. Sleep is a dormant state of the mind. Be very clear. When I say you are what you are in your sleep state, be very clear. I'm not talking of your sleep dormant state of ignorance. I want you to wake up and say, beyond this sleep state is my real state. Beyond the waking state, this is very difficult for me to tell you that beyond waking state is your real state, because it's, that consciousness is absolutely in and through this whole waking state. But in the dream state, if I tell you that it is the light which is illumining, you will understand better, because there is no other light in the dream. So there must be some power. There must be some illuminating power of that dream. That's why this Natatra Suryo Bhati, or that Kathopanishad mantra, or Jyotishama, the Jyotihi, the 18th verse of this 13th chapter, they make a lot of sense. And similarly in the sleep state means not the ignorant body lying there, because the mind is already in passive condition. Mind doesn't know anything. But there is someone which is watching the mind. That is consciousness. So you have to go so deep into your core of the personality. You have to go very deep. And that is immortal. It never dies. It is timeless. It is changeless. And it is there right now. Even now it is there. It is our real nature. From that nature only, tomorrow again, this whole waking state will come. When I go to sleep again, I will go back to that pure consciousness. That is the nature of the world and the body and the mind. The mind keeps on going from one body to another body. But the one who knows this truth, he never travels. That soul which was attached to that mind learns to drop that attachment and cling to this Atma. That is called as self-realization. There is no more travel after that. You will be very happy to say you are birthless. There's no more. That's because you already left your body and mind to this anatma world. Let the body and mind do its duties. Do your duty every day, because anyway that your waking state will come back again tomorrow. That is the nature of the world, but not now we are trying to understand the nature of Atma, in which the world is coming and going. Okay, Santiago, you have another question. Can you ask?
Yes, I'm trying to understand a little bit, not only as a metaphor, but why Krishna talks to Arjuna and doesn't talk to Yudhishthira, which when reading the Mahabharata and even taking the first sentence of the Gita, the Darsha Kshetram Kurukshetram, it seems that Yudhishthira is like somehow a little bit more, or he's already ready, or he's more ready to sink into the knowledge. So why is Arjuna taken instead of Yudhishthira? That's
very, very good question. I think you have followed the story very well. Okay, don't forget that Yudhishthira was blind. Blindness indicates complete ignorance and complete ego of not letting go that ignorance, thinking that I know everything. In ignorance, people think that they know everything. Yudhishthira was like that. He thought that his ego, whatever the ego was telling him, is the truth. Whereas Arjuna let his ego drop and surrendered to Lord Krishna and said, Lord Krishna, now you are my guru. Now you tell me what I should do. Yudhishthira never surrendered to Lord Krishna. That is the reason. Lord will teach a person. That is why they say that Bhagavad Gita is taught to a person who comes to a teacher to learn. Teacher doesn't go after searching for students. Oh, this Uma is there in Singapore, another person is there. No. The students comes to the teacher. Always you will find in the entire Upanishads, the teacher is in the forest teaching. Teacher is fulfilled. To come to your direct question, the answer is that of the ego. He felt whatever he thought was right. Yudhishthira, right from the beginning till the end, if you come to the 18th chapter, Sanjaya keeps asking Yudhishthira again, will you stop the battle? No. He says, no, let the battle go on. He says that, and again, the thing is, you should understand, any person who surrenders to this knowledge is the ultimate one who will get this knowledge. The ego factor in us, I, which keeps on telling, I know, it is ultimately what happens is we have to learn to drop this ego. This is the last step in our teaching. In the 18th chapter, that is what you'll come to know. Arjuna learns to drop his ego in the 18th chapter, 66th verse. He says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. I surrender my ego to you. Once I have surrendered the ego, everything becomes clear. Delusion, all delusion goes away, and the clarity of the truth comes. Then you can face the life. Whatever life brings in, it's okay. Whether it brings joy, sorrow, all that, okay. I know the truth. I know I am Atma. Even though you may not know 100%, that small drop of knowledge has already entered your mind. This will take you off. At some time, it will take you off. Definitely, it will take you off. That's a promise of Lord Krishna himself. Lord Krishna says in the 18th chapter, last few verses, he says, whoever he may be, if he has come to learn Bhagavad Gita, means he has done some punyam in the past. Some merit you have done to come to this knowledge. Somewhere you got lost and you have come back to this knowledge, because it is the mind which keeps on traveling, birth after birth, birth after birth. So, you're clear now, right?
Yes, thank you. There is also something in the Mahabharata that explains, some sage explains to Yudhishthira, that the way to realize the truth in the Kali Yuga is through bhakti. But maybe at some time, what we are doing here is working more with jnana.
Yes.
Yoga. But they clearly say that it's bhakti yoga, the way to do it in the Kali Yuga.
Don't attach too much relevance to those things. It's okay. It's a part of that. In a certain context, people say that, but ultimately, through bhakti, you get a guru. Ultimately, through bhakti, you get a guru who will teach you. The same. The final step is only knowledge. Through bhakti, you get guru. From guru, you get the ultimate knowledge of Atma. Even Lord Krishna had to go through the Sandipani school to get the knowledge of Atma. So it's ultimately, that is the parampara, that is the tradition. Okay, there's some more question here. Can you please explain how and who would decide? I don't understand this, Lakshmi. If you can explain to me here, you can ask me, what do you mean by this question? Okay, if you would want to ask me this later on, you can ask me later on. One more quality Arjuna has, which Lord Krishna mentioned, is anasuya, one who has no jealousy or envy. Yeah, that's correct. You're right.
Yes, Lord Krishna has mentioned in many shlokas
Yes.
this Anasuya.
Correct. No jealousy.
Yes.
Anasuya means there is, I don't have any jealousy, but he had jealousy. He had envy. Yudhishthira had a lot of jealousy. So therefore, he couldn't bow down. He couldn't come down his ego. See, all our egos are extremely strong. But the moment you have come to Gita, that means you have already got a diluted ego. See, we are all learning. So our egos have already come down, diluted quite a lot. So we will be in the path to get the knowledge very soon. Okay. Yeah, Lakshmi, are you back? Okay. Is there any other question?
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Lakshmi, tell me.
Yeah, I just want to know who will decide our next janma, perhaps, to whose parents we will be born, or which time you will be born, and all those things.
Okay. See, this question is answered in the scriptures, because you should know that Lord Ishvara is the karma phala data. That means he is the ultimate decider of our next janma. Whether we will have a next janma, whose parents will be, who will be my parents, who will be my siblings, who will be my children, all that is as per the law of karma. And the Lord Ishvara is the Lord of karma. See, what happens is, we are all souls. The body and the mind, they get attached to the soul and they leave the soul. Again, they get attached, again they leave. And there is a law behind this entire universe. Whatever karma phalam, for example, today you are doing some actions. You're doing some actions. You're getting some happiness, some joy, some sorrow. All this is because of your past. You have done certain things, and then that same thing is coming back to you now in a different way. So, for example, all the people around you are also they are also a part and parcel of your karma phalam, and you are also a part and parcel of the other's karma phalam. This karma phalam can be easily understood as the thoughts which we get every day. See, how do you know that tomorrow morning I'll have these thoughts? Nobody knows this. That is what is called as karma phalam. The thoughts which we entertain every day. Because of the thoughts, I do actions. I have desires, I do actions. So that is the cycle. But so this is, to answer your question, it is the Lord who is in the form of a Sakshi in this body. He knows that you need this for your growth. He will bring a proper parent to you. He will bring your siblings for your soul, for your mind to grow to a higher level. All this, whatever we are experiencing, is through a karma theory. And the Lord is there is a Lord. That is why we call it Ishvara. And that is why we call that Ishvara as Antaryami. Antaryami means he is the inner controller of all of us. You are listening to this talk because of some karma phala which you have done. That is the meritorious action, and you are progressing. So in our realization, if you keep the goal of realization of the Lord as the ultimate goal, our goal is all decided by our own past karmas. Are you clear now?
Yeah. But what about Sruna Anubandha? They call with relatives, dear ones, and all that. That is also decided by our past janma or what?
Yes. You see, it could be decided by our past janma or their past janma. See, suppose I am helping somebody, that means it is their karma phalam and I am supposed to help them. Or I am having some problems because of my relatives, it is my karma phalam. The world is very, very much interconnected. Very much interconnected. There is some principle which connects the whole universe at the level of experiences. That is one connection. There is another connection which happens at the level of consciousness. And both are interconnected. That is how the whole cosmos is built. So, for example, if you are supposed to serve your parents, it is your karma phala. You are supposed to do your karma for your parents. Suppose your daughter does something for you, it is her karma phala. Suppose you go out and help somebody, that is your karma phalam. You are supposed to help the other person. So these are all interconnected. And we can't see that Lord, but He exists. And that is why you see Taratamyam in this world. Some people are rich, some people are poor, some people are having good life, some people are having not so good life, some people are having a mixture. It's all, whenever you're trying to answer the question about our experiences in this life, there is only one principle, which is the law of karma. It's very deeply explained in the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else has a question? If not, we will stop now and then we'll continue next week. Next week, we'll close this chapter. We'll end this chapter. So like I said, if you have any question, any verse which you have not understood, we can go through it. And it's good that we are coming to an end of this chapter. The 14th chapter is relatively easy chapter. And the 15th is also easy. This is the most difficult chapter, but I'm happy the way we went about it. Verse by verse, we covered it. And you got the full glimpse of the chapter. Thank you and good night.
Sekhaji,
Haan, bolo.
I have a question
Yeah, tell me.
regarding the fear of death. You see, the realized soul will have the fear of death.
Yeah, the fear of death, right? See, the fear of death is a thought, is only a thought in the mind. You should say that I am not afraid of death because I don't die. I am the pure consciousness. I was never born. I means not the body. I am talking about that pure nature of mine. which is that witness principle, which is that consciousness principle. So you should tell yourself that I am always there as this pure consciousness. This pure consciousness, that means the seer. It has not changed for so many years, and it will not change also after the death of the body. Only thing is that you will not be able to experience the world. You will exist. You will survive the death of the body as pure consciousness. You will remain, but it will not be in this form. What will be the form? Exactly like you're in the sleep state today. In sleep state, how are you? There is no body. Body is sleeping, okay, but that body is not connected to you at that time. You are away from that body. The mind is sleeping. Mind is also not connected to you. How are you in your sleep state? Exactly the same way you were before the body was born. You will be after the body is gone. Once you, and this is explained by the scriptures, by Bhagavad Gita. The 20th verse of the second chapter, Na jayate mriyate va kadachit, is the explanation. You are never dying, you are never born. You are this consciousness. So keep reminding yourself, I am the consciousness. I am that. Lord is clearly telling you, I am in you. Bhaubai, it is telling you in the third verse of the Gita. You have learned the Gita so much. And in the Gita, the Lord is telling you, I am there in you. And that Lord is with you. Remember that. And don't be afraid of that.
Because Nasikita, we asked this question, is there anything beyond cause and effect? Like,
Yes, that's correct.
So you are wondering what is
yeah, so this is what is beyond
the fear of death.
Yes.
Fear of death.
That's correct. You see, that Nachiketa wanted to have this question. So he is the one who asked this question. Is there something? That something is what you are in your sleep state without the ignorance of the sleep state. Because of the knowledge. Now you have the knowledge. I am that pure state. That is what remains. Beyond cause and effect is this what remains. That is what is consciousness. That is what is my nature. I didn't know this. But now through Gita, I know this. So no problem. Keep remembering this. The main thing is we tend to forget this. Whenever thought of death comes, replace it with I am consciousness. I am the one which is seeing the thought in my own mind. The thought is a temporary thought. The thought will go away tomorrow morning. So so who was seeing the thought? That seer of the thought is always there. When the thought was there, the seer was there. When the thought is gone, the seer is still there. Seer means what? The knower of the thought. So remember, Lord is there in this body. I am with the Lord. I will be one with the Lord after the death of the body. Nothing to fear in this world. You can get rid of all the fears. Just remember the Lord as He is there in this body.
Because secondly, I don't understand much of Sanskrit words, so I don't understand sometimes most of the word, how to explain or how to get knowledge and so on. So I never took up Sanskrit.
Yeah, don't worry. Just keep listening to the Bhagavad Gita. You will be able to clarify your doubts. Okay, there's one last question here. If everything is already decided by karmas, do we still have a chance to change our destiny? Yes, you can change the destiny by So many ways. You see, for example, you chant the Vishnu Sahasranamam, you chant some things. These are all the good karmas which will neutralize some of the papams of the old karmas. You go for a visit, all this, you see, in the law of karma, there are certain actions you do which will neutralize some of the weaker karmas. That way you can change your destiny. There are some strong karmas you cannot change. It will come. That is something which is, you are helpless. Helplessly you are made to experience. Each one of us, I give you guarantee, each one of us, at some time you will find, I don't need this experience, but still I'm experiencing this. I don't want to have this experience, but still there is some force in me which is making me experience this. I don't know what it is. That is called as the law of karma. You can't help it. You are helpless. But there are certain things, for example, you learn the Bhagavad Gita. I learn the Gita, I understand there are a lot of karma phalams which get destroyed. Because you start observing your mind. As you observe your mind, what happens is your karma phalams are getting extinguished. They just come up as thoughts and then they get burned. Again, they come up as thought, again they get burned. Because you're not paying any attention to it. But there are some thoughts which will keep disturbing you. That is called as helpless. You just go through it and just say, okay, it was a bad day, that's it. Tomorrow will be another fine day. Okay, thank you very much. And it's been a long session today. It was very nice questions today. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Shekharji. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.